Hey guys, so I got my new tires and wheels in for the Rubicon, so I'm going to show you a video with all those weights, mounting them up, measurements and stuff. Also, I did some portal maintenance and some checks on my initial install, so check that out. By the way, for everyone that keeps asking, we're going to do Holopal on Sunday. We're going to try a big group, meet at North Beach at 10 a.m., and then from there we'll go to the mud flats and hit up the airboat trail and stuff like that. We'll have some side-by-sides with us, so we won't be going all the way to Brick Lake, but it'll be a good ride. So yeah, for everyone that keeps asking me and I keep forgetting to tell you, I'm sorry. I usually meet you guys when I'm drunk at Holopal and I don't remember how to find you on Facebook, or I just forget, so sorry. Aztex in, as usual, extremely fast shipping. Came in a couple days. Throw them on the scale. This is a 33-inch tire for an 18-inch wheel, and it weighs 44 pounds. So, that's pretty good. 44 plus a 20-pound wheel, 64 pounds. Why did I go with these wheels? Well, only ones I could find. And I like that they're 6.5 inches wide. It's kind of a skinny tire that helps with the bead issues, helps protect the rim. They're gonna make my foiler a little wider, probably 2.5 inches wider overall, maybe 3 inches wider overall, which is good for stability and stuff. I like the look of keeping it skinny, but that's what I could find. I got them for 200 bucks a piece on eBay. So yeah, time to just mount them up. And of course, I'm gonna take these brand new wheels and I'm gonna scratch them all up, mounting them by hand, because that's how we do things. So they're all mounted. Let's throw it on the scale. Now, granted, they have a little extra air pressure in them right now, so they might be a little heavier. LOL. No, just kidding. Air has mass. So I got them at 35 PSI right now, so just beat it and let them sit like that for a second. Let's get it balanced. 63 pounds. Not too bad for a 33-inch tire with a whole lot of tread on it. That's very flexy, good reliable bead. Hands down my favorite tires on the market. And they've been that way for a couple years and no one's caught up yet. Maybe they'll make us some even better ones soon. But these things rock. We're all running them for a reason. All right, look how pathetic the YXZ looks next to this Mammer Jammer. Oh, it looks mean. All right, so that's the new Tarachis mounted up. They're big, they're fresh, they're wide. So these are the ITP Hurricanes, 18 by 6.5, so a little skinnier than the wheels I usually run. They're 7 wide. And I did that because it helped protect the bead some. And as you can see, it keeps the wheel sucked into the rubber. So it's good for the beads, it's good for not floating. The wheel spacing, so my other wheels I was running on here that I borrowed from Lars were 6+1 offset. These are 4 plus 2.5, which means that the wheels stick out 1.5 inches farther on each side for a 3-inch wider track width. I did need a little more stability. I probably would have rather do 5 plus 2, which would have made me 2 inches wider, not 3 inches wider. But this worked out pretty good, and I could get these wheels in time, and they were a little cheaper than the beadlocks. And the beadlocks were on back order most places, so you can see how I have a good amount of space between the wheel and the bracket now. I usually like the portal to be totally sucked into the wheel. They hang out a little bit. It is what it is. If I was going to do this over, I might go with a 5 plus 2 inch wheel, but I want to wait, and I like the bronze. They look good. So what does making it wider offset do? It does a lot of things. It puts more stress on your tie rods, puts more stress on your ball joints. It makes you rub more when you steer, because now the tire is going to swing more than turn. So you see it'll get a lot closer there than it did before. So I'm probably going to have to do some trimming. It'll also get you dirtier, because this thing is going to throw mud up onto here now because the tire sticks out so far. But if you're riding a passenger or you're being lazy and you don't want to throw your weight around as much, it will be a lot more stable. So that's kind of what I was going for. And it does look meaner. It looks wider. So the width is more proportional to the height. So it looks like, it's got like a 6-inch long arm kit on it now instead of just being 6 inches higher. It's actually got the width to go with it. So we'll see how it works out. We're going to go to Holopal on Sunday. I know people keep asking to go ride at Holopal when I'm going to go, and I think I've told a few of you guys, but I always forget people because usually I meet you when I'm drunk out at Holopal. But we'll be out there on Sunday. We'll meet at North Beach around 10 a.m. and then we'll go hit all the usual spots in the mud flats. And I'm going to take this thing up the airboat trail, see how it does a little bit, and I'll probably turn around and come back. We're not going to try to go all the way to Brick Lake. We'll have some side-by-sides with us, including this blue turd. So that'll be a good ride on Sunday. And there'll also be a video about this thing coming out. If you don't know what this thing is, you should know. And also, you can see that we've been having a lot of fun with it in the yard. Very cool little car. Probably going to buy one. So I figured I'd give you guys a little time-lapse video of how to mount tires. I've done it before, but people always ask, so let's see how fast we can do it, including unboxing it and everything. All right. A lot of cardboard used here. I can't find my purpose-built tire lubricant, so do this the old-fashioned way. Bar soap. Soap the lip. Almost every ATV tire gets mounted from the front of the rim. I see shops do that all the time. They don't want to scratch the front face, and because they don't want to scratch the front face, they try to do it from the back, and they either crack the wheel, scratch the wheel, or tear up the bead, because that's not how these wheels are designed. These beads are made tight for a reason. It's to keep sticks and mud and stuff out. So you take that on there, grab you some tire slime, put on the rag like so, and put that on there. This helps it get nice and wet, helps you mount it, make sure you don't have any bead leaks when you're done, and also helps you seat the bead. These tires have such tight beads, sometimes you got to get them to 40, 50 psi for the tire will bead. So you throw that on there, it makes it a lot better. So get the first bead on as far as you can by hand. Sometimes you can get them all the way over. So you get it lubed right. Boom. All right, that's done. And then you get the tire off the side of the table like that. It's important that you have it on the edge of your workbench. Put this little guy down here to hold it. Get your tire spanners or tire irons or tire spoons, whatever you want to call them, and start scratching up your brand new wheels. I prefer a scratched wheel rim lip than a bead leak any day. After all, these wheels are $200 a piece. The tires are more than that. LOL. And you start working it around. Get it to where it starts to get tight. And then you got to push this down so it gets in that groove. See how it's in that groove all the way around? That's what you want. As long as it's going in that groove, you can keep working it. If it stops going in that groove and it gets too tight, I usually start working it the other way. As long as you get it lubed up right, you usually don't have to do that. Bam! Why pay a tire shop to mess up your tire for you when you can do it yourself? Mess it up, that is. And bring it back over this way. This sucker just beat it, as you can see. I put 40 psi in it and let it sit, and it worked its way all the way around the rim. Because these are pretty skinny tires on a pretty skinny wheel, these are 6.5 wide wheels, no strap or ether required, just air them up. You can see it start to suck to the rim. That lubricant I put also helps with this. You hear it leaking a little bit on the back bead, that'll seal in a second. Got 20 psi. Just kind of watch it and make sure that it's creeping around the rim. It's coming. 26 PSI. Always want to make sure it looks all the way the same, all the way around the rim. Here it goes. Boom! That was at about 36 PSI. If we look at this side, it's all the way around the rim too. I know someone's gonna ask, how tall are the tires with 30 PSI in them? Here is the answer. 30 PSI, they're about 33 and 7/8 inches tall. Obviously, once I air them down to 0 PSI, they will be a little short. Tarachi now sizes their tires at 7 PSI, says it on the sidewall. That's the recommended pressure, so at 7 PSI, their tires are pretty true. Alrighty, so because I am extremely thorough and kind of psychotic, I took the portal apart to check on how it looked, the break-in and stuff, and rechecked all my nuts and everything like that, because again, I'm very thorough and kind of psychotic. One thing I noticed is that there's a lot of rust on the axle shaft and the splines, and that's because Gen 3 portals don't seal to the axle shaft. Water can get here, come down the splines, and it can get into the gear splines. Can't get into the portal box because the top gear is sealed on both sides. See how there's a seal there? There's a seal on the other side too. So it can't get into the portal box, but it can get in the spline. So you should really grease these splines. I didn't do a very good job of that. If you grease these splines real good, it'll keep water from getting in there. So when I pulled this little cap, wherever it is, this cap, a lot of water dumped out. And that's just kind of part of the design. It's not a big deal. The box looked okay, but in the future, make sure you grease those splines so they don't stick and rust, and that'll also help protect the splines. Other than that, came apart very nicely, very easily. So in the portal box, we see we got the portal blood. It looks pretty good, nice and goopy. This box actually holds a pretty good amount of gear oil, as you can see. I'm pretty happy with that. The gasket looks good. No signs of leakage or anything like that past the gasket. Yeah, everything looks pretty good. Another reason to take this apart was because people kept asking me what gear this top one was, and I forgot the part number. The part number is PGH-3DG-003S. So that's the Pioneer 500 rear gear. It goes on the front of a Rubicon. The Pioneer 500 front gear, which goes on the rear of the Rubicon, is the -4S. So I'll put up a spreadsheet showing you those part numbers momentarily. But yeah, everything looks good. So I'm just going to put it back together, put it back on the machine. I already went through and retorqued all my ball joints. Nothing had moved, so they seem really solid. And I retorqued my tie rod ends because I'm using the little baby Honda ones. Really should be using the big beefy ones that I was given with them. But I'm just going to see how long these Honda ones last because, yeah, I'm lazy and, yeah. I like a joint with a boot, right? These don't have boots, so eventually the Heim joints will get some wear and stuff like that. So I'll just wait to put them on until I need them. In the meantime, I'm carrying spare tie rod ends up here because I'm a scientist and everything needed to change them. Okay, that's about it. So far, so good with the portals. Handle's really good. Wheels will come in tomorrow. Tires will be in Friday. I'll probably post this video after I get them on there, and I'll make this part of that video. Observation, as with all my portals, there is a lot of metal flake in the oil. So I'm going to change this oil out after the next ride. Kind of an unfortunate thing I've noticed with every set of portals I've had is there's a lot of wear products from these gears, the way they're machined. Hasn't ever caused me any problems, but obviously it's not ideal. It is what it is. I think any aftermarket gear, right? You got 3 aftermarket gears now that are breaking in against each other. You're going to end up with some material like that. So for that reason, I recommend changing your gear oil after your first ride. I probably should have put the cheap oil in here and then changed it to go to this portal blood after, but it is what it is. It'll be just fine.